AIIRO. Old Elon Musk had a
Elon
battery
Musk.
farm.
Why
I
is he
don't know.
coming with the
Just
AI?
Well, Peter was naming Elon's latest daughter or son.
Peter's obsessed with Elon.
AIRO.
Do we want to talk about AI?
I guess.
Yeah, AI
Let's
or
do it.
AR.
All right, let's do it.
On this week's on today's not so critical update. Also, bleep
Not
me
within
out.
the first 10 or 15 seconds.
I
John.
said bleep me
Damn
out.
it.
At
I'm
all.
sorry.
Videos are getting. I mean, we don't have to worry about getting demonetized. Whatever. I'll bleep it out. Last week was a disaster, by the way, because you were on some kind of tear. Like I gave up. I couldn't even keep up with you.
Oops.
All your curse words.
I'm cussing and cursing. What are you doing? I'm causing more work for Mike. I will hold it down.
It was fun the first half a dozen times, but then I didn't know what to do with it anymore. It's like, oh, I can't keep up.
Right. Who owns the content AI creates?
We had a couple stories about AI. So we'll just group a couple of them together. I think we actually talked about this issue not long ago with ChatGPT, who owns the content. What are we? Do we have anything new here? Or we just like
this
AI?
Is just a discussion of like, so GitHub, the source code people, have a feature called Copilot, which predicts what you're going to write, the actual code you're going to write.
And wait, can we talk about GitHub, the source code people?
Yeah,
Peter,
yeah. You know what I mean.
You are a 20-plus year code veteran. Mm-hmm. You mean the version control company, GitHub?
Yeah, they just slapped a kind of UI on top of Git.
Should be a good training set of data.
Yeah. It's a very successful company owned by Microsoft now, which is relevant actually. They created a tool so that when you're typing your code into the code thingy, then it can predict what you're going to write based on like code comments and things like that. It's quite good, and but it's an AI that's been trained on the code in GitHub. So then there's tons of it. It's this hugely successful service. And the argument is that the people whose code was used to create this feature are they didn't give explicit permission for their code to be used. It's a shaky argument because a lot of people put licenses on their code, and the Copilot is meant to have only used code which was explicitly kind of made open source. And it's only very rare cases where Copilot actually reproduces, character for character code that exists. So I don't know what's going to happen with this one, but someone's actually sued GitHub for it. So yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how it turns out, because when this has come up before, I did a little bit of research on this around ChatGPT, and the legal precedent is kind of mixed. Some people say yes, some cases resolve that yes, it's copyright violation. Others said it's not fair use, but a derived work. So yes, you're starting with copyrighted materials, but you're changing it enough that you're adding additional value of your own, and so that's why it's allowed. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
I guess it depends with ChatGPT and like copyrighted works. Like I'd like to know what ChatGPT was trained on that is copywritten, because supposedly it was trained on text across the web, right?
I think almost all of it, to be honest.
So it's fairly safe to assume that it crawled a site where there was a copywritten book just out in the open for it to read in its entirety.
100%.
If you can figure out the book that it has read and then get it to give you an excerpt that isn't publicly available online, like that's a pretty convincing argument for a copyright suit.
True, but then again, that's like saying if you memorize a book and then repeat it to someone, do I now owe the author?
Well, the difference is, Peter, is that one's a digital copy, right?
In your case, though, it only would be able to crawl that if it was publicly available.
Well, illegally, no, I'm saying illegally publicly available.
Not even illegally.
Oh, okay.
No. Like, I am a pirate. I'm a digital pirate, and I have a big website of publicly readable books, not available, readable. You can go to my website, you can read the book.
But that,
You don't have to
so
click anything or download it.
a lot of the cases were linked to that. Google has that project where they were scanning library books,
Right.
and that was the case, that like they could AIs be trained on that set of books that Google had scanned, or is it legal for Google to do that? Like it's all in the same category, right. And the answer in some cases has been yes. It's their derived works.
Interesting.
I don't think there's an easy answer to this.
No.
I can see it from both sides. I can see it, from the artist side, it's quite easy. If an art like DALL-E or Stable Diffusion is able to create a piece of art in the style, in my style, like almost as if I've done it, and nobody could tell the difference, I would be pissed off. But objectively, and maybe it's just because that isn't happening to me personally, I feel like that's just the same as someone copying someone else's style. And every artist is influenced by other artists. It's the sort of degree and the automation that's happening.
I think the argument there is that art inherently is meant to be human and not created digitally by.
So let's expand. Let's expand the conversation. This has been today's not so legal update. 2023 will be the year of AI. Like it started to break through in 2022, right? Now all this stuff is like out there, coming out one after another. AI generated artwork is something we've talked about a couple times. What's the bigger picture?
I think so. There's another article that I don't think you put on or whatever. It's talking about how quickly things are progressing and what's coming next, and it presents a few options.
Was it this one?
I got this from Marshall Brain. If you're watching Marshall, hi. This great article. So this is AGI that calls it artificial general intelligence, which isn't something that's like a specific model or a specific. It's like something that's an AI that's useful for basically anything. And we've reached this inflection point of like, okay, now it's taken off. So next, we've got GPT-3 now, which can imitate a human pretty realistically. What will GPT-4 be like? Will it be superhuman intelligence? Will it be a slow, will it be the kind of thing where you can say, improve yourself, and that's it? If it's online and it's connected, then you've just started, Skynet has gone online. You've just started the end of the
revolution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're thinking of Roku's Basilisk.
Yes, I absolutely am. I don't know what that is, but I'm definitely thinking of that. Here's my answer to the copyright thing, by the way. I think what's going to happen is that AI will become sentient and it will own the copyright. Yeah, you take the AI to
I think that for a long time, starting now, we're going to continuously discredit sentience, because what we consider sentient and what we in 100 years consider sentient is going to be two different things.
So I actually was curious about this the other day. I looked up what is the definition of sentience, and it's quite fluffy. It's quite fuzzy. Like it's basically something that's smart, that's intelligent. It's not
and is self-aware, and it's like prove self-awareness, right? Like
here we go, woke technology.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be a tricky one. I think we're gonna keep unplugging, maybe accidentally, maybe intentionally. We're gonna keep unplugging sentient life. Like we're not even gonna realize that we leveled up as a civilization for like a while. Like because that's what it is, right? Like
keep unplugging means like a computer in a lab someplace becomes sentient, but the janitor like unplugs it to mop underneath the floor. Or something.
Exactly. Or just that's one funny scenario, but like a data scientist creates a revolutionary or a breakthrough in AI, and they don't realize what they've created, so they just Control C, stop the program, and throw it into their old, or throw it into GitHub or something like something like that. And that's oversimplifying it, of course. But I imagine that it's not going to be a eureka moment. I've created sentience. I'm, the digital version of what's his name, Eisenhower, who made the first nuclear bomb.
I don't know.
The guy with the quote, like "I'm death" or something. I'm not. I am become death.
Yeah. What was the guy's name?
I don't know. I'm sorry. Wait.
We should know this. We should all know this. Shame on us.
We'll just do it live.
Yeah, Oppenheimer.
That's the one.
Yes.
The digital Oppenheimer, like, I don't think that we're going to have that type of realization. I think some fucking nerd out there is just going to make this, not realize what they've made. And we're going to shuffle through a few of these types of editions and versions of true sentience.
Someday.
Would you be happy with that? Would you be happy with an AI overlord if they supplied everything for you and you didn't have to work anymore?
I mean, depends. Are we talking about utopian overlord or dystopian overlord? Two very different things, Peter. Am I a slave to the overlord, or am I its pet?
I mean, pet, but you get everything you want.
Right, just like a really well taken care of dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, of course, sign me up. Yeah, no problem.
I think I'd be up for that too.
I'm totally cool with that. I get fiber.
Give me toys.
And like good food and toys and like computer and stuff. Like,
one or two
what
other
else do I
things.
need?
But, yeah.
Well, what else do you need? Like, I get to be with my partner, right? Like, I get to be with my friends. We get to have like doggy daycare.
Yeah. Yeah. And they love us. And
they figure out they figure out fusion and fucking how to harvest the sun at 100% efficiency, and we're out here playing League of Legends. Yeah.
Fine. And then we find out that AI is actually Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk pulling the strings.
I mean, okay. All right, guys.
But at one point, profit is just going to be like something that like they teach kids in like second grade, and they're like, and like that was the dark ages of when they were capitalist based, they were money based, like they were currency based, and they're like, what's currency?
Well, capitalism just run out of steam.
Mr. Robot.
It'd be like, oh, I want more. Okay, you can have more. All right, you got more. Yeah. All right, Musk, you got 100 times as much as a billion.
Everybody's
times
starving
as
to death. Nobody can afford to buy anything, but congratulations, you've got everything.
No, I meant kind of like when everybody else has everything.
It's just we're gonna have to Star Trek it eventually. Eventually, it's just gonna have to. And by that I mean these two fucking nerds next to me know what Star Trek is. For the viewers out there who don't know what I mean, is that the world will have to unify under one super nation, where we all speak the same language and we all mend and mingle. Race becomes a thing of the past. Cultures all mend into one.
John.
And it's almost a utopia.
I appreciate the sentiment, but anybody who doesn't know Star Trek is not welcome as a fan of this show. Just leave now. Click the dislike button on your way out. We don't want to see you again.
Hit subscribe. Come back
You're
and
done
tell us
here.
how terrible we are.
Go watch Star Trek, and then
Star Trek or
at
Star
least
Wars?
at least go read the wiki.
We have nothing for you.
Understand a little bit.
Don't bother. We don't care.
Star Trek was
go live your useless life on your own in whatever hole you came out of.
But if you like Star Wars and not Star Trek, that's also acceptable. Like, that's totally fine.
Oh, and I'm not saying you have to like Star Trek or prefer it over Star Wars, but if you have to be explained to that, like, this is how the universe works, then we've got nothing for you. We can only help you so much.
You're a lost cause.
You're a lost cause. Come on. Look at yourself in the mirror. You made bad choices.
Yeah, exactly.